The mirror did not show death, it showed the exact moment your life would be ruined. In the village of Aminik, people feared many things. Thunderstorms, night spirits, hungry forest. But there was one thing older people feared more than all of them combined. A mirror hidden deep inside the forbidden forest. Because according to legend, the mirror never lied. And once it showed you your future regret, you could never forget it. 17-year-old Peter Okafor hated being poor. Not the normal kind of hatred. The deep kind. The kind that burns quietly inside someone whenever they watch other teenagers wearing expensive sneakers while they patch their own sandals with glue. Every morning before school, Peter helped his mother sell roasted corn beside the dusty roadside market. Sweat soaked his faded yellow football jersey before sunrise. Meanwhile, rich boys his age sped past on shiny motorcycles laughing loudly. Sometimes they mocked him. Corn seller. Village hustler. Poor boy. Peter would smile outside. But inside, something dark was growing. One evening, while packing unsold corn, he watched his mother count tiny crumpled notes with tired fingers. Then she whispered, "This money still cannot pay your school fees." Peter looked away. Because for the first time in his life, he began to believe poverty was a curse. That night, he made a dangerous promise to himself. One day, I will never suffer again. And somewhere far inside the forest, an old mirror cracked softly, as if it had heard him. The next weekend, heavy rain trapped villagers inside Mama Busy's food shop. The old women began telling stories. Real stories. The dangerous kind. One old man leaned closer to the fire and whispered, "Long ago, there was a mirror hidden in the forest of Tioka." The younger children moved closer immediately. The old man continued, "It does not show your future success." He paused. "It shows your future mistakes." Silence. Even the rain seemed to stop. They say people who look into it see the exact moment they destroy their own lives. One boy laughed nervously. So why not avoid the mistake? The old man's eyes became cold. Because greed changes people. Another woman added quietly, "The mirror only appears to people whose hearts are already changing." Peter laughed with everyone else. But secretly, his chest tightened. Because recently, he had started thinking thoughts that scared him. Easy money. Fast wealth. Shortcuts. And that same night, he dreamed of a mirror calling his name. 2 days later, a new student arrived at school. His name was Kenny. Clean sneakers. Gold chain. Latest smartphone. Perfect haircut. Everyone liked him immediately. Especially boys hungry for soft life. Kenny always bought snacks for people. Always had money. Always smiled confidently. Soon, he noticed Peter sitting alone after school. "You're smart," Kenny said casually. "But smart people stay poor when they think too small." Peter frowned. "What do you mean?" Kenny leaned closer. "There are ways to make money fast in this country." Peter's heartbeat quickened. "What kind of ways?" Kenny smiled slowly. "The kind brave people take." From that day onward, Peter stopped spending time with his old friends and started following Kenny everywhere. One Friday evening, Kenny took Peter to a luxury lounge in the nearby town. Peter had never seen anything like it. Blue neon lights. Loud music. Teenagers spraying money like water. Some boys there were barely older than him. Yet they wore expensive watches and designer clothes. Peter felt small. Invisible. A boy walked past carrying stacks of cash. Peter stared. "How do they make this kind of money?" Kenny smirked. "You really want to know?" Peter nodded slowly. Kenny's smile faded. "Then stop thinking like a poor person." That sentence entered Peter's heart like poison. Because from that night, Being poor began to feel shameful. And shame makes people dangerous. On his way home that night, Peter got lost near the forest road. That was when he saw her. An old blind woman sitting beside the path. She spoke before he even approached. "You have started walking toward the mirror." Peter froze. "How do you know me?" The woman smiled faintly. "I know the sound of regret before it arrives." Fear crawled through Peter's body. "Young man," she whispered, "there are some futures better left unseen." Then she pointed into the darkness. "Turn back now." But before Peter could respond, Kenny suddenly appeared behind him. And the old woman disappeared into the night fog, as if she had never been there. The following day, Kenny finally revealed the truth. "There's a hidden place in the forest," he said. "A mirror." Peter's stomach dropped. Kenny continued. "They say if you survive looking into it, your future changes." "Changes how?" "You stop being poor." Peter knew it sounded insane. But greed has a strange way of making foolish things sound reasonable. That evening, Kenny challenged him. "Or maybe you're too scared." Those words hurt Peter's pride. And pride is one of the easiest traps to fall into. So he agreed. Big mistake. At midnight, they entered the forest. Everything felt wrong immediately. No insects. No birds. No wind. Only silence. The deeper they walked, the colder the air became. Then Peter noticed strange symbols carved into trees. Warnings. Old warnings. Suddenly Kenny stopped walking. There, in the distance, stood a tiny abandoned shrine covered in vines. Inside it, something reflected moonlight. The mirror. And the moment Peter saw it, his heartbeat became painfully loud. As if the mirror already knew him. The mirror looked ancient. Its edges were blackened like burnt wood. The glass moved like water. Peter wanted to run. But Kenny whispered, "Look." Slowly, Peter stepped closer. And the mirror changed. At first he saw himself older, richer, wearing expensive clothes, driving a luxury car. His eyes widened. Then suddenly, the image changed. Police sirens. Handcuffs. His mother crying. People screaming insults. And finally, himself sitting alone in prison. Broken. Regretful. Destroyed. Peter staggered backward, breathing heavily. No. But the mirror was not done. Because it forced him to watch the exact mistake that caused everything. And when he saw it, his blood ran cold. In the vision, Peter saw himself betraying his best friend Emeka for money. A simple betrayal. One lie. One selfish choice. And it destroyed everything afterward. The vision ended with Emeka whispering, "I trusted you." Peter screamed and fell backward. Sweat covered his body. Kenny grabbed him. "What did you see?" But Peter could not answer. Because deep inside, he knew the mirror was right. Recently, he had already started becoming selfish. Greedy. Jealous. The future mistake wasn't random. It was already growing inside him. And that realization terrified him more than the mirror itself. As they prepared to leave, the mirror suddenly showed Kenny's reflection too. But Kenny quickly looked away. Too quickly. Peter noticed fear in his eyes for the first time. "What did you see?" Peter asked. Kenny remained silent. Then finally whispered, "Nothing." But later that night, Peter secretly saw Kenny crying alone behind the school building. And suddenly Peter realized something shocking. Kenny was scared too. Maybe even more scared than him. Because sometimes the loudest people are hiding the deepest fear. After seeing the mirror, Peter changed. He became quieter. more careful. Every decision suddenly felt dangerous. When classmates cheated during exams and invited him, he refused. When Kenny suggested risky money deals, Peter hesitated. For the first time, he understood something important. Bad decisions rarely look dangerous at first. Most of them look exciting, easy, fun. And that's why so many people fall into them. But Kenny grew angry. "You're acting weak now," he snapped. Peter said nothing. Because deep down, he was beginning to fear the person he might become. One evening, the blind old woman appeared again. This time outside Peter's house. She whispered, "The mirror only shows what happens if you continue walking the same path." Peter stared at her. "So I can still change?" The woman nodded slowly. "Yes." Then her face darkened. "But someone close to you already chose their future." Immediately, Peter thought of Kenny. And fear gripped his chest. The next day, Kenny arrived with exciting news. "There's a quick job," he said. "Easy money." Peter immediately remembered the mirror. What kind of job? Kenny avoided eye contact. "Just help transport a package." Peter's heart pounded. Because in the vision, everything began with just one small thing. Kenny grew impatient. "Bro, stop acting innocent. This is how people survive." Peter looked at his worn sandals, his leaking roof, his exhausted mother. The temptation felt unbearable. And for a moment, he almost agreed. That night, Peter dreamed of the mirror again. This time it showed something worse. Not prison. Not shame. His mother collapsing from heartbreak after discovering what he had become. Peter woke up crying. Because suddenly, he understood the true danger of bad choices. Sometimes the people hurt most are the ones who love you. And before sunrise, he made his decision. The next morning, Kenny waited for him near the roadside. "You coming or not?" Silence. Peter looked at him carefully. Then shook his head. "I can't." Kenny's expression hardened instantly. "You think you're better than me now?" "No." "Then why?" Peter took a deep breath. "Because I finally understand something." Kenny frowned. Peter continued quietly. "Every bad future starts with one small excuse." For a moment, Kenny looked shaken. Almost emotional. But then anger returned. And he walked away without another word. Straight toward the same forest road. Toward the mirror. Toward his own future mistake. And as Peter watched him disappear into the distance, a terrible feeling settled in his chest. Because some people only change after regret destroys them first. That was the last peaceful day before everything went wrong. Because 3 nights later, Kenny disappeared. And the mirror returned for someone else. If a mirror showed you the biggest mistake your future self would make, would you try to change your destiny? Or would curiosity destroy you first?